Thank you for joining Wakefield Hospice Dementia team. My name is Debbie and I'm an Admiral nurse based here at the hospice. And I've got a colleague here, Sandra. Do you want to say hello, Sandra?
Hi, my name's Sandra. I work at Wakefield Hospice, part of the dementia team, and I'm a hospice dementia advisor.
Thank you. So this is the first time we've tried this, so please let us know how you find it. We're recording a short question and answer session, and it's part of the Dementia Action Week that's happening this month. So what we've done is we've talked to some of our hospice staff and asked them to talk to their children and grandchildren, just to see if they got any questions for us. We asked the staff to let each child choose a different name for themselves, just so that they cannot be identified. And all of the staff and children were really happy to help us out. In fact, some wanted to send in more questions, but as this is our only first time, we thought we'd better keep the numbers of questions down. So Sandra is acting as my sound engineer today, and she's going to play some of the messages that have been sent to her. Are we ready, Sandra?
Hello, I am Elsa and I am 13 years old. I would like to know if you can catch dementia from someone like you can COVID. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that, Elsa. I'm really pleased you asked that question, because I think asking questions and talking about dementia is really important. And it might be things that are worrying you about things that actually might not be true. So I can let you know that you can't catch dementia just because it's somebody in your family has it.
I think it's a really good question, really, because they could be thinking if they've got grandparents that are living with dementia, they could be really worried with hearing so much on the news about COVID as well.
Absolutely, Sandra, yeah.
Okay, are we all right for our next question?
Yes, please.
Hello, Debbie. My name is Moana and I am 8 years old. My question is, why does my grandma, who has dementia, sometimes forget who I am? Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that, Moana. And that's not uncommon to be asked that sort of question, is it, Sandra? We sometimes do get asked that. And if I could say, your brain is a little bit like a computer or a mobile phone. And with dementia, some of the signals do get lost along the way. So people can forget things or say things that don't seem quite right to you. And that does include getting your name mixed up or forgetting who you are. But there are many different types of and causes of dementia. You may have heard of Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia, for example, because they are the common ones. And Alzheimer's does attack the brain cells, and over time, more parts of the brain are damaged. And it does get worse over time. So the gaps develop in areas that are important for receiving and storing new information. So if you imagine this happened to your mobile phone or your iPad, old information, contacts, messages and photographs may be stored, but the new ones aren't able to be saved. And even the ones that are already saved start to gradually they get lost as things go further along the line of dementia. And that's what happens. And vascular dementia is a type of dementia that has problems with blood supply to the brain. So if you imagine your mobile phone or your iPad, the charging lead, it sometimes gets damaged and the electricity that you need to recharge things just doesn't get through properly. We've also said, haven't we, Sandra, that sometimes you can think of it as a string of fairy lights, where sometimes some of the lights twinkle and sometimes they don't. The connections change and alter the way that those lights work. So one time signals get through and other times they don't. And it doesn't mean that your grandma hasn't stopped caring about you or doesn't realise that there is a connection there. I think one thing to remember sometimes is what can help is making sure that your grandma feels happy by sitting and talking about things you did together or look through some photographs. Feelings become more important because sometimes people just start to not be able to find words. But you could still have fun with your grandma and spend time together But sometimes some of the things that you used to do together, you might need to ask grown-ups how to change those things as dementia gets worse. So your grown-ups that support you might have to help you think about how to adapt what fun things you did with your grandma.
But it's also good to say as well, it don't always have to be their grandma or granddad or their grandparents that's forgetting a few things. It could be somebody younger, like their mum or their dad, or maybe an elder sibling that could also be forgetting things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And although we can't change what's happening, sometimes just letting her know that you're there and what you've been doing. Talk to her about your day. Hugs can sometimes also make a big difference, because hugs and love are very strong and you feel them right through your body. But I would say to you, it's all right to be worried or sad about what's happening. I bet the grown-ups around you are also feeling worried and sad. And the brain works, the way the brain works means that it's not going to get better. But so it is really, really important that you do ask these sorts of questions and you talk to your grown-ups about how you're feeling. But the best thing I can say to you is, be patient with your grandma. She's not doing it on purpose. It's just her reality can be quite different to what is real to you. And I would try and go with the flow of the conversations that your grandma's talking to you about. It can be really hard not to keep correcting them, but please try not to keep correcting her, because that will just make her feel anxious and upset and worried. And just to remember that she might sometimes forget your name, but she'll always know and feel the love between you both.
I got a video call, and they're asking what colour is the door at the hospice.
Ooh, another good question.
The person that sent me the video is very young and very shy, and having some prompts to help him do it from his dad. So it was very quiet.
Oh, so I guess he's trying to figure out what we all look like and what our building looks like. So our front door of hospice, we've got two very big glass doors. So they're see-through. So we can see who's walking up to the door, and more importantly, they can see us. Our doors are automatic, which means that they open as soon as you walk up to them. And that's really, really good if it's raining or snowing, or if you're carrying a lot of things, isn't it, Sandra? It can be really good, but also that they lock at night so that our nurses and the people that we look after are safe at night time.
Yeah, really good. Good questions. I've just got two more. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's see what.
Hello, Debbie. My name is Mulan and I am 9 years old. I would like to know why you are called an Admiral nurse. Thank you.
And who was that?
Moana, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you. And I'm glad that's been asked, because that's a question that I get asked a lot. And I think there's lots more people, particularly grown-ups, that would really want to know what an Admiral nurse is, but are too shy to ask. So I'm really pleased that you've asked that question. So Admiral nurses are nurses that know a lot about dementia and support people that have got dementia and their families. We give advice and education to doctors and nurses as well when they need it. And the reason that we're called Admiral nurses, it's because of a family whose father had dementia, and they were really looking for support out in the community and couldn't find any. And they realised that they really needed lots more nurses with knowledge of dementia who could be there to help the person with dementia and the families. So they raised money, and they raised enough money to fund a nurse. And they chose the name Admiral after their dad, because where he lived, he was always known as Admiral Joe, because he loved boats and he loved sailing. And that's why we're called Admiral nurses.
Do you have a picture, Debbie?
I do have a picture. Would you like to see a picture? Yeah, there he is. Can you see him?
Admiral Joe.
So that's Admiral
like
Joe.
The guy off the is it Fish Finger advert? Without
he does. He does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And as you can see, that we've got 3 Admiral nurses in Wakefield, and then there's me at the hospice. So that's that.
Lovely, thank you. Let me see what the other one is.
Hi, Debbie. My name is Pocahontas, and I am 7 years old. Can you tell me what is dementia?
Well, thank you, Pocahontas. That's a really important question, and one that we do like to talk about, whether it's Dementia Action Week or not, don't we, Sandra?
Yeah.
So dementia is a general name for that's given to a condition or illness that affects how our brain works. So our brain controls everything we do. From when you got up this morning and got washed and dressed, your brain is working in all different ways. So because it controls everything we do, dementia describes signs of changes in the way that we think. It can affect your memory. It can affect the change in which people see things or the way that people communicate. Dementia causes damage to cells in the brain and it stops them from working properly. So sometimes how people think and act may change because the brain just isn't working how it used to. And I think you'll agree, Sandra, we've spoken to a lot of people who are living with dementia, and we've had one person that's described it like a string of fairy lights, haven't we? Yeah. That every light along that row of fairy lights has a different function in the body. But one by one, the lights flicker and fail, and different fairy lights flicker and fail for different people. So that's why it's really important that you should never think people who have dementia are all the same, because they're all different, because along those fairy lights, each light will flicker and change for different people. So that's really, really important thing to remember. Dementia affects people differently.
I think sometimes as well, Debbie, if we refer to dementia as fairy lights, we can also think that sometimes one day them fairy lights might not be lit, but the next day they could be lit, and they could be lit for several hours. Yeah. And people have better days than others that are living with dementia. Yeah,
and going back to one of the questions about the grandmother, you know, music, photographs can help with fairy lights, can't they, Sandra? Music in particular can have a really good effect on people when you think communication isn't always there. And don't get me wrong, you know, no one's happy all of the time, and there will be times when people just need a bit of quiet space. Yeah. But sometimes music is the best therapy sometimes.
I'd just like to say, I think that's all our questions, Debbie. I'd just like to say thank you to the children that work with the adults and give us this feedback. It's been absolutely amazing, and they've done really well to record it and send it to us. And I think we've done well trying to do this. And I'd just like to say thank you for the adults for supporting them. And I think it gives them a bit of knowledge about it, and also to say that you're not frightened from to ask questions about anything. And there's always somebody there that can help them and support them if they've any concerns. So that's for us for now then. So that's goodbye.
Oh, thank you.
Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.